Today on Dice to Pixels, we're going to be talking about Nintendo's prices coming down, as well as Fortnite. Stick with us. So,
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, Mario Day.
Yeah.
I've been proven wrong.
Yeah, fuck you, Sarah.
Yeah, fuck me specifically.
So in response...
No comment.
In response to Sarah's scathing review of Nintendo pricing last year, directly in response.
Yes.
This Mario Day, Chad, you were telling us about some of the deals. They sound like actual deals for a change.
Yeah, because typically whenever they have a sale, like their games are only usually like, 20 up here in Canada, they usually retail for $79 to $89, and whenever they go on sale, they're for $59. But it looks like for Mario Day, March 10th, Saturday, March 10th, Mario Day, get it? It's so funny. Anyway.
Edgy. Anyways, yes.
Yeah.
No one's made that joke ever before.
Yeah, they're actually having some bigger sales on select titles. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which ironically enough, Mario Kart 8 has been around since the Wii U.
Yeah, well, I mean, traditionally, Nintendo never frickin' lowers the prices.
Yep.
More than 30% or 31%.
That's right.
Yeah, so this is the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Party Superstars, which is new, and Luigi's Mansion 3 are all going to be retailing for $39.99 in the U.S. That's probably like, $150 here in Canada. Joke.
Probably.
That's
That
a
sounds
joke.
about right.
That's a joke.
Ha. Ha.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's way too favorable for us.
Yeah. The Mario plus Rabbids Spark of Hope is retailing for $19.79 in the States for the sale. The sale runs up until March 17th.
Yeah, it's a week long.
Yeah.
And then some other sales that they have Super Mario Brothers Wonder that's going to be going for $48.26 for some reason. And the Super Mario RPG Remake, $44.95. Both of those are great freaking games.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a Switch, get them. They're great. They're awesome.
I'm also pretty surprised by the Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
Because it's new.
Mm-hmm.
Like new.
Mm-hmm.
And a remake, which typically they hesitate to lower the price on those.
Especially if it's, like you said, new.
Because
they're both new.
They are. The reason the remake specifically surprises me is because they usually sell those to hardcore fans. And so even among games, like even among Nintendo games, I believe I'm correct in saying that they usually hesitate to lower the prices on those even more than usual.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like I'm going to pay pretty much whatever the hell you ask for Super Mario RPG. And I know most people who bought it feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually a little surprising that they included it. I mean, as you say, like there's more than one new game in there, and it's surprising that they're lowering any of them. But especially with remakes, they tend to have a slightly more fanatical fan base. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, you really don't need to lower the prices on those. So it's kind of surprising.
Yeah. They also have some Lego sets. They're called Super Mario Adventure sets.
Yeah, those are kind of cool.
Yeah, they usually retail for $60 American, but they're three of them: the Mario starter set, Luigi starter set, and Peach starter set are all going to be going on for $48 on Amazon. So yeah, I seen a few people hoping for another release of the Super Mario 3D All Stars, which had a very limited run. I think it was either last year for Mario Day or the year before, but it packaged up Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy in one package.
Yeah.
And it went like freaking fast.
Yeah.
Really, really fast. So it'd be cool if they brought that out. It'd be even cool if they won't have to now, because you can play any Mario game you want on like the Nintendo console online or the Super Nintendo online. But just good old Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you purchase something in the sale, there is a 1 in 18 billion chance that Mario will come to your house and do your dishes for you
through the pipe. Hopefully
Yeah,
not the bathroom. Like
it's random.
That'd be weird, eh?
Random
You're sitting there just, it was burrito night and you're just going to town, and all of a sudden you hear woo woo woo.
It happens.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, bad day for Mario.
Yeah.
But no, it's a random pipe though. So maybe demolish most of the bathrooms in your house for the next week, just to play it safe.
Yeah.
Yep. All good.
I don't have to say that was a joke, right? I think we're good. Yeah. So Mario Day, I'm gonna check out the sale. I literally found out about when Chad told me like 2 minutes before we went live. I'll check it out because
Those are actually good sales for first party Nintendo games.
Nintendo does good games. They just tend to be overly pricey for extended periods.
Yeah.
But that's good. And then, I mean, since I said it during the sting, Fortnite's down as we're recording this. I'm sure it's back up by the time you're watching. None of us care about that, but it is big news. Major live service game going down.
Why live service is gonna fail?
Well, it's part of a more interesting like. So there's always going to be big live service games. That's not going to change. But it is interesting when you see even very large companies struggling with this. I've seen a lot of people, live service is better because of blah 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 blah, and that there are reasons that live service is interesting. But stuff like this is just evidence of how completely ineffectual it is for smaller studios.
Yeah.
You can't do a live service game as a small studio. I mean, look at Helldivers 2, and they're not that small a studio.
No.
Like indies, just there's no hope for an indie doing live service. And honestly, I agree with I still am of the opinion that you were pretty much correct when you said that this is going to be a at the very least a bad year for live service.
Yeah.
And as we said before, it's not that existing live service games are going to fail horribly. Like Fortnite's still going to be here at the end of the year, even though they're apparently having some struggles right now. But with the number of new ones coming out and seeing like even well-established titles having trouble with their services, I think there's going to be a lot of unhappy live service players throughout the year.
Well, even Skull and Bones, which just released from Ubisoft. I haven't played. I stayed back because I'm like, I'm on the fence about this one. And I'm glad I did, because seeing a lot of the feedback on that one, it's obviously we've talked about Yossi Croshaw before. He's a part of a new channel now called Second Wind, and he still does his zero punctuation-esque videos, but now it's called Fully Ramblematic.
Yep.
And his review was Skull and Bones last week. And apparently, like a lot of the stuff so more or less it's based around Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which was like, obviously the pirate one. You're on your ship, naval combat, swashbuckling pirate stuff. You can't really do, according to this review that he did, you can't really do any of that in Skull and Bones, which blows my freaking mind. Like a lot of the on-sea stuff is very limited. You don't really get to do much of anything on a boat from what he said in this video. And he basically said like, just play Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. Because that's basically what everything that they were talking about with Skull and Bones is just like a more realistic version looking thing of Sea of Thieves. But maybe this is going to be another example of like No Man's Sky, where all of that stuff gets added in as it goes along. But to the point of smaller indie games trying to do live service stuff, like I've played a little bit of, and I don't know if it was just of where my location was on the sea, but like playing a little bit of, the name already escapes me. Doesn't matter. There just wasn't a lot of people in this, in the indie game itself. And that's the problem with indie games is if they're going to keep a server going, they're doing it out of like love and passion for the game that they've built themselves. But those communities like go up and down in terms of their activity. So if they don't keep those servers going and the game is totally dependent on that, like you could end up with a dead in the water game so fast.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. PlanetSide, one of the best games ever made, but they had to shut it down eventually because there weren't enough people playing. Yep. And then PlanetSide 2 was, it was okay. It wasn't great. And I think I even mentioned it when we were talking about the live service stuff, where it's, if you're buying into a game like that requires servers, no matter what the requirement is for that, whether it's DRM or otherwise, at some level, there's a clock on that game. Yeah. Like it's going to stop working eventually. Yeah. Which is annoying. But I actually, Skull and Bones, I would hazard a guess that I might know what happened with it.
What's that?
So this was a problem back in the day when 3D MMOs first became a thing. Was it's very easy to do a 2D map in a 3D game. Or a 2D map in an MMO because there's only 2 coordinates and stagger, like jitter, is not that big a deal.
Mhm.
But when you start talking about 3-space terrain, it's harder. Dynamic 3D terrain is very hard. And I assume in Skull and Bones they have the ships going up and down because of the sea.
See, yep.
And having that work with network lag,
Ooh,
like doing anything with other boats, they'd be like in midair and it would look like shit. I wouldn't be shocked if they intended to do it and then sort of realized, made the plan for the game and started working on it and everything else. And then actually got to the point of like, okay, let's make this work properly. And then like, oh, that's near impossible.
Mhm.
Because I mean, you've seen it anytime you've played a 3D game where people are like falling from different, like look at World of Warcraft when people are jumping from various heights, they do like the
Yeah.
Imagine that when you're trying to fucking have a like sea fight, ship fight at sea.
Yeah.
It'd be a nightmare.
Storm too.
Yeah, it'd be a nightmare. I wouldn't be surprised if that's if they had intended to do that and then realized that it's nigh impossible. And I actually don't know if that's meaningfully fixable because it might be because the sea is predicted on the server side, so you might be able to offset that. But there would be a layer of complication there for sure.
It might be just a hindrance of current technology.
It's a hindrance of network speed is the problem. Because like if I'm the ship, like I can, as a server, I can predict what will happen if it goes in a straight line, like what the height map of what it would do. But if they then start to turn, then that height map isn't going to be right anymore. So you're going to end up with a boat that I think as a server should be going up, but they like crested a wave because they turned starboard, and so then they're going to be like floating in midair, and it's going to look pretty fucking weird. So whereas like with a flat surface, like World of Warcraft, they keep all the water flat for that exact reason.
They do,
because then you don't have to worry about that. Whether it's got a texture or not, it's flat. All of the geometry in that game is static.
I am thinking of like every game that I've played that has a lot of water. Yeah.
Every single 3D game that has an online component, the water is flat for that exact reason. So it wouldn't shock me if that's part of what's happening with Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
And they may not be able to fix it because, assuming they even want to, I'm guessing they intended for you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a very hard problem to solve.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not interested in it.
I could be like, it's an interesting thought. And I like, I enjoy sea combat and everything else, but I kind of knew it would have some rough edges.
Yeah.
So
I think with my gaming, when I do have time to actually sit down and game, I'm going to continue with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah. You said you hadn't really put much time into
I
it.
haven't had time.
Yeah.
It's we've been so busy, all of us really have been just busy with other things and like gaming. And well, I know you were saying that you've done a lot.
I've actually done a fair bit of gaming this week. Yeah.
Before we jump into that though, I just want to make a note. I just want to say, as a lot of people are aware, the entertainment industry lost Akira Toriyama, who is the creator of Dragon Ball Z. He died, I believe it was Thursday.
Yes.
Today. It was today, Thursday, which
today's Friday.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Or Friday, sorry. Yeah, okay. I'm tired.
One of those days. Sarah is bashing her mic.
Yeah. So, big loss to the entertainment world. I know a lot of people are really big Dragon Ball Z fans. I remember when the Xbox first was trying to make waves in Japan, they got Akira Toriyama to do a lot of the character design for a game called Blue Dragon that released back, I think, on the 360. And it was a decent RPG, like just very traditional, overland turn-based combat stuff. But he had his own little, he made his own little mark on it, as well as doing some character art for Chrono Trigger, which is probably one of the best RPGs ever. So yeah, massive loss for the entertainment world. Rest in peace, and at least we still have the work. that
Yeah.
you've done. So
Yeah, I think there's a couple episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
yeah, one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's there's going to be a lot more of that happening over the next little while as the sort of old guard in the entertainment
He wasn't
industry.
very old though.
No, but you'll see more and more sort of like, oh, they died young, and then it'll sort of dovetail into the like, he was 90.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen more and more frequently. We're going to lose more and more. I mean, just in the last year, you've lost a handful, and
Yep.
yeah. So I have been playing games. I've actually been playing games again this
That's
week.
exciting,
Isn't it? So we finished Pandemic Legacy, and I won't spoil anything crazy, but the like super bug that you're combating throughout the game. I think I already mentioned that like there's one of the this happens like right off the top, so it's not much of a spoiler. One of the diseases mutates, and then that's sort of like the Snidely whiplash of the series. And ours broke out from like the heartland of China, which is, let's just say the path that our virus took was remarkably similar to the coronavirus. Remarkably similar. So we were having an entertaining time watching that unfold throughout the game. And oh yeah, that is the next step it took. Okay. But it was a great game. I highly recommend. We played season 1 of Pandemic Legacy. We're gonna grab either season 2 or season 0. I'm not sure. They both came out after. So but it was great. Highly recommend it, especially if you like base Pandemic. This just adds a little extra pizzazz. It's fun.
Yeah.
it mutated from the coronavirus to the Budweiser wine.
That's right. And then I played. I've been playing this game. Let me double check the name because I will mispronounce it big time. It is called Ballatora.
Oh, yeah,
Ballatoro.
Yeah, is that the poker game?
Yeah, the poker game. I've been playing a bunch more of that. It's for people who like that kind of game.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm having fun.
So is it deck builder
It's
as
like
well?
a roguelike deck builder.
Okay.
Roguelite, I guess, deck builder. But it's like literally just playing cards because you're playing poker. So it's not like, there's elements of like you can enhance a card to like give you extra money when you play it and stuff like that. But they're all just playing cards. So I've been playing a bunch of that. And then I also picked up just earlier today, last night, Thronefall, which is new. It's in early access. And it is a tower defense game of sorts. Well, yeah, it's a tower defense game. But you like build out your economy at the same time. Like you're building out like a little kingdom. And so you build your houses and your fields and everything else. And you're trying to protect them so that they can generate you money that you can then use to upgrade stuff. It's like a voxel type graphic set. Reminiscent in graphics wise. So somewhat reminiscent of a lot of other ones, including... now I can't think of it. I had it on tip of my tongue. Yeah, exactly. Yep. You'll know it as soon as you see it. It's the other tower defense game that I bought that I really enjoyed. That for some reason, Rogue Tower.
Okay. Yeah.
Similar sort of voxel-y nature to that. Yeah, enjoying it so far. I've only played a little bit, but it's fun. It's satisfying.
I'm looking at the font for their like actual official, and I'm like, why does this look familiar? It's because it's the same font style as actual Corona beer.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
that's just kind of a weird
coincidence. Connected.
Goes all the way to the top.
Sorry, what were you saying, Chad?
Oh, I just said the art style is it's very cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. There's been a bunch of. I'm guessing somebody somewhere probably put together a voxel library or something, because it's not the same, but it's very similar to a couple other games that I've seen recently. So anyways, I picked it up. I'm having fun with it, and And then I've been making my way. I've still been playing Incremental Epic Hero too.
I thought you gave up on it again.
I did. I gave up on it for about a day, and then literally like the next day, the dev posted a thing saying like, "Oh, hey, sorry we've been missing, but we're releasing like the next update should be coming in like a week or two." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, well." Fair enough. So I started it back up because it's an idler through and through.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, that's what I've been playing, and then I've been playing some more 1846 Race for the Midwest, which is a really fun game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna get a copy of it, a physical copy, and we can play someday when you guys have like 5 hours to spare.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck.
The first round, like it's not so bad once you know the game, but the first round is
Rough.
it takes a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I've been playing.
Yeah.
What about you, Sarah?
I haven't really been playing anything.
Oh, for
but
God's sake!
I know, but I have a question for you guys
Okay.
then instead.
17.
Oh,
That's probably not the right answer that you want to give. We
Chicken fingers.
maybe that one.
Now I'm just thinking of all the questions I wouldn't want to answer 17 to. Sorry, go ahead.
So if you could take any type of other media, book, movie, TV show, hell, even like a concept album or any music album at all, make it into any sort of game, like video game or board game, what would you want to play?
God damn.
Yeah.
Whew, that's one of those questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is a little bit iffy. So The Martian, the book.
Yep.
I would love a game that is of that sort of, you're on a planet with very limited resources, but like actually limited resources. I know there's lots of games like Factorio and stuff like that. It's vaguely in that neighborhood, but it's like, oh, I can just like pick up some iron off the ground. It's like, I don't get me wrong, I love Factorio. I played the shit out of Factorio. But like, I would be very interested in a game that is like, the escape games kind of come close where it's like here, but they're all linear. You've got to do a specific set of stuff. I would love like a Martian game where it's like, you have to do all of these things to survive, but we're not going to give you any help.
Yeah.
We're not going to hold your hand. Everything is going to be fighting tooth and nail. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's like, oh, you have to build a thing. Okay, well, you have this much duct tape available to you.
Yeah.
Use it wisely.
Yeah. And like, there's a few games that kind of approach that. Like Rust, I think, is in that neighborhood. And there's, what is it? Sons of the Forest or something?
Oh,
Something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
They're kind of there, but they're still way too generous.
It's like take a rock and a
just
stick
magically it becomes a
an
spear.
actual axe or
yeah,
something.
or an axe or whatever. Yeah, like something that really is punishingly difficult. There's like 7 people in the world that would buy that game, and I'm one of them.
I'm thinking of music albums and shit. So 12 Foot Ninja's Silent Machine. Each song is it's all connected as like one story. When they first released that album, they had like a graphic novel that you could get with it, and each song was a different chapter of a story.
Okay.
That as a video game would be interesting, as well as The Wall, Pink Floyd.
Oh, that'd be so good.
But another one I was thinking of was Dream Theater have a song called The Change of Seasons, and it's a 23-minute song. But each of the 4 segments of the song is a different season. So
Cool.
They stole that from Vivaldi, a classical composer. He has one called The Four Seasons. Anyway, sorry.
Or was Vivaldi a time traveler?
Maybe.
anyway,
go ahead.
Sorry. Dream Theater.
that song as a game would be kind of cool just to play through it. So
Yeah.
First of all, do you have an answer to that, Sarah, or did you just ask?
Kind of just asked, but I've also been thinking about it a little bit too. I would love to play like the storyline or like in the world of Oz, because I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan.
All right.
But I would want to do it more as like a D&D style game. Like any of those, like even Lewis Carroll, Alice in Wonderland, like type stuff, Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. Give me any of that stuff as in a tabletop RPG. Oh God,
that could be a fun session to run.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good answer. So the other thing, while Chad was talking about music, I thought of a blasphemous version of a mobile game. You should turn Stairway to Heaven into a mobile game.
Oh, it's an endless runner.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And you're trying to get up to the
stairs.
you're trying to get up to the gates, but you're avoiding like
I don't know.
Thumpers and all that shit.
We'll leave it there because that's where it becomes blasphemous. But I was like, oh shit, that could be an endless runner.
Yep.
On the flip though, a good book to read that's from the perspective of a random like NPC character in a game is called Mogworld.
Oh yeah.
It's also by Yahtzee Croshaw.
Also by Yahtzee Croshaw, but it's hilarious. And like when we were looking at that game you mentioned with Thronefall, I believe it was.
Yes.
We were looking at that. I'm looking at the town and I'm like, man, I want to know what the people there think. I want to be one of them.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be a fun game too. Either like as a tabletop RPG or even in a video game where you play as an NPC.
Yeah.
Well, there are games like that.
They're called MMOs.
I will say, and we'll probably leave it on this note because I think we're coming close to time. I have wanted to do a RimWorld playthrough and then do a D&D campaign of some of the other like kingdoms nearby. And like tell the story of whatever nonsense, like whether you're like running a cannibal operation or whatever as your RimWorld save.
Yeah.
You know, the D&D party is one of the neighboring factions.
Like, what the fuck are they doing over there?
Like, did you guys hear what's going on over there?
I swear they make their candles out of feces.
Yeah, 100%. Like, because you can do that kind of shit in RimWorld, and it's crazy. And I think it could be fun to play like one of the ancillary kingdoms in a D&D game and just like, seriously, if those guys come here, kill them on sight.
There's something in the water. They always say the sky's purple.
Yeah. So that's something I've always thought about doing is like, playing the other half of some of the experiences you have in video games and whatever.
Or from the villain's perspective.
Yeah. Also fun. It's so hard to find. So I think we'll leave it there. We love you all. Sarah especially. Sarah's going to take us out.
Thanks for joining us again this week. Nice. Tell a couple friends, maybe like and subscribe. Let us know, actually, because I'm actually curious. Obviously, I asked the question. What would you want to play as any sort of game?
It's a good fucking question.
It is. It's a fun question. So, yeah, we will see you later. Thanks for joining.
Peace, brah.
Bye.